So, hello, my beautiful students, and welcome to another episode of Maria Simple Spanish. And right now, the cool thing about learning Spanish and about the culture is that you want to use it, right? You really want to get engaged with it. And a lot of the reasons why my students want to learn Spanish is for coming to Colombia and living here and enjoying the culture. I'm going to react to this video. Thought it was very useful, and he is basically talking about how expensive it is to live in Colombia. He chooses a couple of cities, but I'm gonna focus in Bogota because it's the one I know the best. So here we go.
So what happens if you take the cheapest real apartment in 7 Colombian cities, buy your groceries at Day Uno, cook at home, eat out once a week, pay internet, utilities, phone, healthcare, and actually live like a normal human being? How low can you go? Today we're not guessing. We're not using my friend told me math. We're not doing influencer fantasy budgets. We're doing fingerized listings for apartments. We're doing Day Uno and Olympica screenshots for food. Every number in this video comes from real listings, real stores, real websites. Here's the framework. We're only doing Strato 3 apartments only. So Strato 3 is a working class neighborhood. It's typically a safe neighborhood. It keeps you out of the 1s and 2s, which are the poorest neighborhoods, but also keeps you out of the 5s and 6s, which are more expensive neighborhoods. There's no roommates in these calculations, no alcohol, everything's cooking at home, and one menu del dia per week, which is basically a restaurant with authentic Colombian food. Cell phone, internet, EPS health coverage, and utilities. And yes, furniture amortized.
Sorry, I'm gonna add note as he doesn't add transportation. And it's important, guys, because even if Bogota is a walkable city, most of the times you might need taxi, you might need Uber. It's not super expensive, but it is an additional expense that easily can add up to $100 per month cheapest.
Let's start with the apartments. Let's start in
Barrancas Norte. Pay attention to here. You look at the price, precio de arriendo, and look at this. It says administración, 110,000 Colombian pesos. Maybe it's not much, but it is something that you have to pay. You have to always pay attention to this when you're looking for rent. They're not going to say this is the rent. They're going to add some extra cost. That is some sort of admin you have to pay every month. So keep that in mind.
Norte.
Okay, has admin.
45.
Okay, also be minded of the minimum contract. You might be stuck there for a year.
2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. Strato 3. Rent, $1,300,000.
He is including actually the admin to that monthly cost, so that's good.
Pesos per month. That's about $355 US. This is not Chapinero. This is not Zona T. This is I live in Bogota without pretending I'm rich. And this is actually a decent area. Talk food. So all right, you have an apartment. Now the real question, can you actually afford to live in them? Let's talk food. So all right, you have an apartment and now you need to eat. This is not Uber Eats retirement. This is cooking at home 6 days a week and eating out once for 19,000 pesos for a menu del dia. Every price you're about to see comes from Day Uno except for one Olympica because Day Uno did not have ground beef at the time of this recording. So breakfast, every day, 2 eggs, arepa or bread, fruit, coffee. Let's break it down monthly. So 30 eggs at Day Uno is 9,950 pesos. That's about $2.72. We need 56 eggs per month, so that's 2 trays. So that's going to be 19,900 pesos per month, or $5.44. And that 30 eggs in the US is what, $8, $10? Here it's under $3. And for the arepas and bread, 500 grams of arepas, which is 5 arepas, is 1,850 pesos, about 50 cents. Or a loaf of bread is 3,250 pesos, or about 89 cents. So we'll budget roughly 13,000 pesos per month, $3.55. Bananas. They're basically 450 pesos each, or a 12 cents each.
I have to add something because this is very real, guys. Day Uno doesn't have the freshest fruits or vegetables, and their fruits and vegetables, selection is a little limited. Keep that in mind, because a lot of the times you will going to go to buy bananas and they're fucked. They're disgusting. They're rotten or they're too green. That do have only two. Same with avocados. The solution, you might want to go to a more expensive supermarket to buy them.
Those a month, so that's 10,800 pesos or $2.95. Then we have coffee, 220 grams of ground coffee for a okay brand at De Uno is 17,900.
By the way, when he said fruit, I thought he was gonna say more than bananas. It's just bananas. That's nothing. I mean, you need a little more vitamin C, right? They have kiwis, they have blueberries, which I do recommend. They're very good. They have strawberries, maybe, and these are the only 4 fruits they have. So, oh, they also have, I think, watermelon. Maybe I'll have to double check on that. But his nutrition is a little limited, apparently.
50 pesos or $4.91. You'll need 2 bags of those per month. That's 35,900 pesos or $9.81. That's daily coffee for under $10 a month. Lunch and dinner, the real calories. We're cooking rice, chicken, ground beef, lentils, beans, pasta, tuna, vegetables. So let's run with this. 2 kilograms of rice is 5,300 pesos or $1.45. We're going to need 4 kilograms a month. That's 10,600 pesos or $2.90 for 4 kilos of rice, which is under $3. That's just shy of 9 pounds. Next up is chicken. 800 grams of thighs is 9,990 pesos or $2.73.
Keep in mind, again, any meat you buy from chicken or beef or fish in the Uno is very low quality. It's just like that, and it's frozen. If you are sensitive to that, don't buy there. If you don't mind, go for it. Roll with it.
We'll estimate about 6 grams per month or 13 pounds. So that's roughly 75,000 pesos or $20.49 for a month. Then ground beef, and I had to look this up on Olympica because De Uno was out of it at the time I was doing this research. 1 kilogram of ground beef is 21,350 pesos or $5.83. You're going to need 2 kilograms per month, or basically 4.5 pounds. So that's 42,700 pesos, or $11.66 for the month. Then tuna, 170 gram can is 4,450 pesos, or $1.22. You're going to need 8 cans per month, which is 35,600 pesos, or $9.73. Lentils, 500 grams is 2,850 pesos, or 78 cents. You're going to need 1 kilogram per month, or 2.2 pounds. So that's 5,700 pesos or $1.56. Then you're going to need beans. 500 grams is 3,790 pesos or $1.04. You're going to need a kilo of those, which is also 2.2 pounds. That's 7,580 pesos or $2.07 per month. And De Uno has lots of different pasta options, and they're all relatively the same. Whether you want spaghetti noodles, the little spirals, lasagna noodles, 500 grams of noodles is basically 3,990 pesos or $1.09 per month. You're going to need 2 kilos of this, or 4.5 pounds. So that's 16,000 pesos or $4.37. Now let's look at produce. Avocados are 1,450 pesos each. You're going to need 12 of these a month. So that's 17,400 pesos or $4.75. Then tomatoes, you're going to need 2 kilos.
Remember what I said about avocados. I don't know about tomatoes, haven't tried them, but keep that in mind.
Of those. That's 9,600 pesos or $2.62. Onions, 2 kilos is 2,800 pesos or 77 cents. Plantains, you're going to need 2 kilos of those. That's 8,400 pesos or $2.30. They have Quaker oats here. 400 grams of Quaker oats is 4,950 pesos or $1.35. A 1 kilo month equivalent is basically 12,000 pesos or $3.28. Now you're going to need some toilet paper because you ate all this food, right? So 18 rolls from De Uno is 19,950 pesos or $5.45. Now let's talk about eating out. There's the menu del dia. That's
Wait. I'm surprised you touch on toilet paper, but you didn't touch on any amenities. Like, this is the thing. He goes so frugal that is like Okay, but that's not, it's frugally unrealistic. So what about soap? You might need soap to clean your hands. What about soap to washing the dishes? What about, because he's super frugal, you probably are not going to hire anybody to clean the apartment, so you might do it yourself. You might need a lot of cleaning products, which the Uno has and they're good. Yeah, you just go, but you might need them, softener if you use it, or if you want to go frugal, you don't. But soap for your clothes and for your dishes and for your, like everything, right? So you might need that. Also, keep in mind, I guess you might have washing machine, but sometimes they don't. Oh, you might need to buy one. Let's see if he keeps that in his mind in furniture, or he's just gonna skip it and pretend we're not gonna clean our clothes or wash our clothes.
19,000 pesos, and to be honest, it depends on the city. 19,000 is at the top end. Most of the time, if you're in a smaller city, it can be as low as anywhere from 12,000 to say 15,000 pesos. But we're sticking with the higher number, 19,000 pesos, $5.19. You're going to do this 4 times a month. So that's 76,000 pesos or $20.77 eating out 4 times in a month. A menu del dia, if you don't know what it is, in Colombia is a fixed price lunch special that most local restaurants offer Monday through Saturday. For around 12,000 to 19,000 pesos, depending on the city, which is about $3 to $5, you typically get a full meal, soup, a main plate with rice, protein, and salad, plus a fresh juice. And it's how most Colombians eat lunch, affordable, filling, and different every day. So we're going to do one of those a week. Now let's look at the total monthly food plus household items. So when you add all of this together, that's roughly 430,000 pesos per month, which is about $117 a month. Let that
Again, stop. Did he say household items and he just talk about toilet paper? I maybe we have to keep watching to see if he includes, the la escoba, like where you swipe, like the way when you, like el trapeador, la escoba, all these things you use to clean. And also, what about the dishes? You might need some dishes to eat, unless you want to be hyper frugal and buy, I don't know. Place it in leaves. I don't know, but let's see. Maybe it's in furniture or something.
again, 3 meals per day, protein every day, fruit, coffee, 1 restaurant meal per week.
Again, fruit is just bananas, so it's a little like, but okay.
Or about $117 a month. This is not ramen survival. This is normal Colombian grocery shopping. Okay, now let's add everything else.
Let me disagree. It's single person Colombian shopping. No, because in Colombia, I'm just gonna tell you what we have. Juice. We have fruit juice for lunch. We need a bunch of more fruits for that. No, we're not gonna survive on drinking coffee in every single meal. We have a little more variety in our shopping.
Else that real life requires. So you have your apartment, you have your food. Now let's talk about the stuff you cannot avoid. No fluff, no optional lifestyle upgrades, just the basics. For a cell phone, basic prepaid or mid-tier plan is about 49,000 pesos per month. That comes out to 13.
That's true. I survived with that, and it's quite good.
$39 for unlimited WhatsApp, data, and normal Colombian usage. You can go cheaper, but this is realistic. Then there's home internet. A mid-tier fiber plan is around 75,000 pesos per month, or $20.49. Reliable, streaming capable, work from home capable. Not luxury, not suffering. EPS health coverage, and this is important. Basic EPS contribution for me right now is 145,000 pesos per month. That's $39.62. That gives you access to doctor's visits, emergency care, prescriptions, basically the public healthcare system for under $40. Now you'll need private insurance to obtain your visa, but unless your M-class visa specifically prohibits you from joining the EPS system, and they rarely do, you can apply for this afterwards. So let's calculate the non-rent baseline. Cell phone, 49,000 pesos. Internet, 75,000 pesos. EPS, 145,000 pesos. That's 269,000 pesos per month, or $73.50. Now let's talk utilities, and this is where geography matters. Utilities in Colombia typically include electricity, water, gas, trash. In Strata 3, prices are moderate, but climate changes everything. So Bogota has a cooler climate, so you don't need AC or heat. You're estimated...
But You do need some heat, and it's when you take a shower. You need hot showers because you don't want to have cold showers in Bogota, believe me. And that will make you waste more electricity or gas, depending on how you heat this water, and that increases your bill.
Utilities in Bogota will be about 180,000 pesos per month, or
That's not true.
$49.18. Stable, predictable.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all. I don't know. He just comes like in Bogota. So as he mentioned, there are stratifications. The higher your stratification, Estrato 4, 5, 6, the higher your bills. So in Estrato 3, you can do your own research. Ask ChatGPT. This is sort of double or triple of what he's saying. So I don't know why he just puts that number. I would like to him to explain that a little more, but it's not true that you just spend that. It depends, especially if you're Strato 3, that would not be only that.
We know fixed costs, we know utilities. Now let's factor in something most YouTube budgets ignore: furniture. Because unless you're planning to sleep on tile or sit on a plastic chair, wash your clothes by hand, you need stuff. Stuff. And most long-term rentals in these neighborhoods are unfurnished. So let's build a realistic, basic setup. Not luxury, not IKEA influencer vibes, just functional. So Olympic is a grocery store, as is Exito and Jumbo. But oddly enough, a lot of these places sell furniture and hardline items. And so I found this on the Olympic website: a decent basic mattress for around 560,000 pesos, $153. And you can go cheaper, but you probably shouldn't. Then a bed frame. A basic metal or wood frame, as you're looking at about 300,000 pesos or $82. Some apartments come with refrigerators, but to be honest, most don't.
And keep in mind this, like, I am Colombian size, but if you're American size, you cannot choose any mattress. You have to choose a big one because you're not gonna fit. And I have a lot of friends who, when they go on their beds, like the half of their body's out. So you might want to invest in your mattress.
So for a mid-sized basic fridge, you're looking at around 1,200,000 pesos or $328. In a basic top-loader washing machine, you're looking at about 900,000 pesos or $246. And you will almost find no Colombians with dryers. Dryers are actually really expensive here because everybody just hangs their clothes out to dry. So basically, we're going to assume you're just going to be like the typical Colombian. So now let's look at basic.
By the way, I double check on prices on these washing machines because I haven't seen one that cheap. Like, my parents just got one, they're very frugal, and they had to do at least 1,200,000 Colombian pesos.
Furniture, things like a small sofa, a table with 2 to 4 chairs, basic storage, you're looking at about 1,500,000 pesos or $410. You can find stuff like this used on Facebook Marketplace here. It's really common. So all of that.
No. I don't recommend at all to use Facebook Marketplace in Colombia. It's full of scammers. You put your safety at risk, especially if you don't speak Spanish. By the way, I'm a Spanish teacher. I can help you with that if you need. Link in the description. But please don't risk your life like that. Going on Facebook Marketplace, there's a lot of scammers. You can be you can choose a meeting point where it's kind of dangerous and you're gonna be scammed, you're gonna be robbed, they take your money and run away. Please don't use Facebook Market here. It's not safe. You're warned.
Together, mattress 560,000 pesos, a bed frame 300,000, fridge 1,200,000. Washing machine, 900,000. Furniture, 1,500,000. You're looking at a total of 4 million.
This is what it means. Stop it! What are you saying? You see, this is like frugal caveman times. Where is the stove? Where I'm gonna use to cook? If you think stoves are included, you might be wrong, especially for a cheap place like that. You're lucky if stoves are included in places, like to cook. Maybe you need at least one electric one. I don't know, but it depends. So what is the stove? Like, probably they take it if it's there, okay. But that he basically ignored the price of the dining table. He ignored it completely. He's like, go get it secondhand and someone give it free for you. It's like, he's not even making up a number. So you need chairs, which he didn't calculate. You need dining table, didn't calculate. You need, as I told you, what the fuck with the dishes? Are you gonna eat with your hands? What the fuck with your fork and spoon and everything? You need all that. You're not gonna get that second hand. I mean, do what you want, but like all these things, glasses to drink something, if you want so bad to make coffee, at least a greca, like a way you make coffee very cheap. So I think that's being not just frugal, but just like very like, I just need a bed and we'll be fine. Like you need, that expense is gonna be higher. You're gonna, so many things to hang up your clothes, like these little things. I thought he was gonna talk about, soaps and cleaning products. Not at all. In furniture, at least. And if I keep thinking, I might remember more things he's skipping on. So let's see. But I towels. Don't you want to use towels for drying? Yeah, right. Like the things for your bed, like pillows and stuff. Like all of these things add up. That's what I mean. So
comes out to 74,333 pesos per month, or $20.31. So that's the real monthly cost of furniture. So it's not.
Why do you say real cost? It's not real. You just made up everything. You skipped so many things.
$5,000 all at once, but it's not zero either. This is why I don't do fantasy budgets. If you're going to retire somewhere, you need to build it like you're staying. So all right, let's put everything together, and here's what's included in every city. Food plus household items, 430,000 pesos or $117. Cell phone, 49,000 pesos or $13. Internet, 75,000 or $20. EPS healthcare, 145,000 or $40. Furniture amortization, 74,000 pesos or $20 a month. So subtotal in that before rent and utilities, 773,000 pesos or $211. That's your baseline cost of existing. Now we've got to add in the rent and utilities. So for that apartment I mentioned in Bogota, you're looking at a total of 2,253,000 pesos a month, or $1,615 a month.
So I don't know why this budget lacks half of the furniture, a lot of the monthly costs, like all these cleaning products and all these things, transportation, the same.
Still, you're in the $500 to $600 range. So it's still crazy cheaper than it would be in the US. So cheap isn't...
That's true. I'm not gonna say it's not cheaper than the US. It is cheaper than US. To be honest, this is... Try to keep your budget on $1,000 US a month. That will be safe. This is all included. Anything that can happen to you. Even visa runs. If you have all these visa things, you will always want to go to your consulate, your lawyer, you're at least, like you're not the typical Colombian. You have other needs of transportation. You might need, I don't know, extra things to communicate with people in your country. Like, I don't know. So, like, at least try to add, he said 700, I would say at least 800, 900, $1,000. And it's some things are very cheap. I don't disagree. I like the Uno is cheap. Almuerzo del Día, super cheap. You might find a lot of cheap things, but don't be delusional. Like, you're here not like a student, right? But backpacking. You are here like an adult who has like also needs, who have worked hard for live here. So you might have some preferences, nice ground beef, like things like that. This is like pretending that you live like a minimum salary Colombian, like baseline salary Colombian who's struggling, and that's okay if you're a student.
About finding the lowest number. It's about finding the lowest number you can live with long term.
So this guy, he's called the Americano here. This is the credits of this video. Matt Griffith, the Americano. I think he did a decent job. But it's this thing of like, how can you low? Like, if you go very low in Colombia, in Bogota, that is the city I know, you will end up isolating yourself from anybody who shares your culture, and you're gonna end up in a little difficult and dangerous situations, Like, you're gonna take a yellow taxi that are kind of dangerous instead of an Uber because it's cheaper, or you're gonna be like in a bus very late, nightlife, and you go in bus because you're trying to be cheap, and that might put you in a little jeopardy. That might put your safety in some jeopardy. So I'll be a little scared of trying that game of how low I can go. Like, don't. Just try to have a budget that it's still very cheap, huh? You can still live okay with $1,000 here, but like don't jeopardize your safety for that. So that was my take for today. I really like this video. Thank you so much. Remember, yeah, I'm a Spanish teacher. If you need any help, just write me on the email that I have, or click on the link in the description and you can book a lesson with me. So it was really nice to break this down, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye.